Okay, hello everyone. My name is Cindy. I am one of the admin of SoCal Asian Connection, and I'm here with Dominic. He owns a restaurant called Send BBQ. Can you tell us more about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Dominic. Been in Southern California pretty much my entire life. We own a Full Send BBQ, which is a brick and mortar restaurant in Carson, California. Right now, we are located inside an amusement park, and we specialize in Texas-style barbecue with Filipino fusion in it as well.
Wow, amazing. Okay, let's go and get started with the questions. Okay. So how many years have you been in this industry?
So I'm fairly new to it. Like I said, I've always had like a keen on cooking and grilling and smoking meats and whatnot. But it wasn't until about, I would say, the pandemic, 2019, 2020, my wife and I, we bought a house in Anaheim. We were working from home, and so we had so much time on our hands. I started smoking meats and grilling, and I'd give it to my neighbors. And then after I gave it to my neighbors, eventually they would ask me to cook for them or cater for them. So that's how we got started.
Wow, okay, so about 5 years?
As far as cooking, I would say about 5 to 10 years. I really got serious about the barbecue stuff and the smoking about 2 years now.
Okay, great. So how did you break into the restaurant industry?
Okay, so same thing, like my mom, growing up, she being from the Filipino culture, she was really big on meat cooking and whatnot. She said, when you get older, it's going to be a day and age where it's not going to be your wife that's cooking anymore, so you have to impress her. So she was, at a young age, she was really big on me cooking. And then so I've been really keen on it. And then, like I said, when the pandemic happened, I had so much time on my hands to do, a lot of cooking, smoking, and grilling. And so that was kind of the introduction, the gateway to all this was the pandemic.
But specifically like the restaurant industry, did you have previous experience working in restaurants or owning restaurants?
No, not really.
Wow.
Like my mom's background, she owned a flower shop growing up.
Okay,
My dad was a blue-collar worker. I didn't really have any experience in the restaurant industry until I started up a business.
Wow, so you learned everything on your own?
Pretty much.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So what are the minimum qualifications to start a business like this?
I would say the most important thing is like grit and tenacity.
Let's talk about grit. Yeah,
absolutely. Especially in this day and age of everything going on, the political and social climate, it's difficult. The rising costs and everything. So grit would be the first, and the second thing would be a brief understanding of the industry that you want to get in. The demographics in that area, how saturated is the market. And then the third thing I would say, depending on how serious you want to get with it, is your business license, get an established business model. Eventually, you want to start bringing on people that'll help you grow your business, like marketing department. You want people in advertisements. You want people helping you with recipe development and so on and so forth. But I would say the biggest thing is just the will to do it, and then everything else just kind of comes from there.
Amazing. Do you have any recommendations on education you should get, certifications or classes? You mentioned the certification earlier, but anything else besides that?
No, I don't have any college experience, especially in the culinary field. I suppose, or business even. It's just something that I kind of learned on my own. Not to say that's the most efficient way to do it. I'm sure college degrees help as well. But I would say if I were going to school, I would probably go to school for culinary, just because I know no matter what, like the more you know, the better, and it's always to hone in and improve your craft. So if I were to choose, I would say something in the business-related field and in culinary.
What's something you would tell your younger self now that you wish you knew back then to make it easier breaking in?
Just do it, because if you think about it, when you're a kid, you have the luxury of quote-unquote fallback plan with your parents. If I were a younger version of myself, I would say just do it. Like, take that leap of faith, because it's part of self-development and growth is doing things that you're uncomfortable with doing. So, I would say just do it. Don't be hesitant, just do it.
What's a misconception you had about your profession that didn't turn out to be true, and then what did?
So the misconception that I had was that barbecue was easy to do. Complete lie. I wouldn't say complete lie, but false expectations. I call barbecue meat alchemy because you take the least desirable pieces of meat and you make it into something special. And to do that, it takes like 12, 14 hours to tend the fire, make sure the fire is okay. But I would say I thought that it would be easy and it was just you throw it on the grill and that's it. But no, there's a lot more to it.
What qualities contributed to your success?
I really love what I do. I don't know what it is. People have their little niche little things, but I love smoking meats and I love grilling. It's therapeutic to me. Given my background in the military, because I am still serving, it's very demanding in terms of work hours and mental capacity as well. When I found barbecue and grilling, it was therapy. And I guess my theory or my philosophy is when you find something you like doing, like everything else is just it's gonna show, and everything else is gonna follow through with it.
What does a career ladder look like for someone in this role? Can you go beyond this, I guess? A chain, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely being a business owner. Eventually I'd like to own a chain of brick and mortars. Right now we are working on getting a permanent food trailer so that we can start working at like 66 Night Market and places like that. So our goal is to get that within the next 6 to 8 months. After that, eventually save up for a brick and mortar. But I guess, in this industry, being a business owner, the possibilities are kind of endless. You can do whatever you want. You can collaborate with other industries as well, which is something we kind of do as well. We donate to a bunch of charities and a lot of foster places, and that's always a good thing as well too.
That's great that you have that goal, 6 to 8 months. That's pretty soon.
It is really soon. It's a little ambitious, but you just got to keep grinding. That's all.
Yeah, have that grit. So how is your Filipino fusion barbecue different than your typical American barbecue?
When it comes to barbecue, there's several different regions within the United States where barbecue is a little bit different. We specialize in Texas-style barbecue, and with Texas-style barbecue, a lot of times it's just salt and pepper. In some regions, you might have some garlic powder on it, but for the most part, it's salt and pepper. So when we take that and we kind of infuse it with Filipino recipes, we're adding that smoky element with our white oak, the wood that we use to smoke, and we're implementing it in those Filipino dishes as well.
So tell us more about your menu. Like, what's some highlights of the menu?
Our most popular thing right now is our brisket. Right now, we work with an organic producer in California where all of their cattle and all of their products, their meat products, are all organic, corn-fed. We have a piece of meat called brisket, and the brisket is undoubtedly the toughest part on a cow. So that's why it takes about 14 to 16 hours of smoke. But after trimming it and smoking it after 14 to 16 hours, it really is just like biting into almost like Wagyu. It's a really it's very tender, it's juicy, it doesn't have a whole lot of seasoning on it. It's just really the smoke that does the flavor. So I would say the brisket's our biggest thing. Yeah.
Sounds good. How do we visit you and try your food?
Yeah, so we're open right now Saturdays and Sundays. At Go-Kart World in the city of Carson. Go-Kart World is the amusement park where they do go-karts. We are kind of changing our business approach, though. We are going to focus more on the pop-ups and the night markets and whatnot. So if you go to our website or an Instagram as well, we'll have our calendar with our schedules in terms of what our menu is going to be and our location is for that weekend.
You want to give your socials to everyone?
Yeah, so it's on Instagram. It's Send BBQ. So you can reach out to us there. You can DM us. I'm in charge of the social media right now. And any questions, let us know.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier that you want to start doing more pop-ups at night markets. So within the next few months, do you have any guaranteed places that you will be at?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, we're working with the YMCA in Lakewood, California, and they actually host different food events throughout the weekends of the months. I'm fortunate in the sense where I have a lot of friends at breweries as well. So, it's one of those things where I just have to set something up with them and do some planning with them, and then we can work out of the breweries as well.
You also mentioned earlier that you partner with some charities. Could you tell us more which charities you work with?
Yeah, so we not charities per se, but we worked, especially during the height of the pandemic, we had a lot of accounts with different hospitals in the area, some in downtown LA and one in Orange County as well. So because with COVID and at the time when all the restaurants were only doing to go, they weren't allowed to really cater for their employees anymore. So we do donate a lot of meals to local hospitals. We work a lot with local police departments and fire departments as well, and we donate to them as well. And we also get in the habit too, towards the end of our shift on the weekends, sometimes we're going to have a lot of leftovers. We'll vacuum seal it and just donate it to the shelters as well.
Amazing.